She's down under, but she's on top of the world, and she won't stop. Flying free, no looking back, turning every crack into a map. Hello, beautiful. Welcome to an episode of Likha Love Podcast. Today's special guest is Laura, aka Mama Zion. Laura is a solo mumpreneur of 3, a free spirit, and an advocate for health, wellness, and freedom with a good dose of humor to make life more fun. She now helps women and mothers globally reclaim their health, freedom, and joy, all whilst building a life they truly love. Laura combines her experience in holistic wellness, mindset, and life transformation to inspire women to live more intentionally, embrace their worth, and create lives of health, abundance, and joy, all while building real freedom for themselves and their families. As a spiritual entrepreneur, Laura is also committed to building a business and a life that serve a purpose greater than herself, connecting to something bigger and empowering others to do the same. She believes that true wellness starts with living water, the foundation of all life, and that aligned success comes from self-love, vision, and conscious action. Through her mentorship and community, Laura guides women to heal and achieve meaningful success without compromise. She's proof that real transformation comes from within. I have known Laura for a year now. We share similar stories, and she is truly an inspiration and such a strong woman, and I cannot wait for you guys to meet her. Hello, everybody. Let's welcome Laura, aka Mama Zion. Hey, Laura. Thank you so much for being on the show today. And you are all the way in Portugal.
Yeah, and it's 6 a.m. Just rang 6
6
a.m.
a.m.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
I must love
And
you.
it's You sure do. Thank you so much for waking up so early for me. Seriously, I feel so honored that you are here to talk. My story and your story is kind of similar in ways where we moved countries and just started life over from scratch.
Yeah,
And I want
absolutely.
you to just share your life, take us back to the version of you before everything changed. Who was she?
That's a good question. She's definitely not here anymore. And I think that there's been, and I think we've discussed this on previous, we've had these conversations before, there's been stages through which I've been to get to the version of who I am today. But the version of me before, until I would say 2018, so I have 2 older children. I became pregnant with my 3rd child at the age of 40. And before that, I'd been 15 years in the UK, and I was a corporate. I was very career focused, but also very focused on my social life and going out and drinking, and it was quite a chaotic and I would say disconnected life. It was all about trying to fit in to the system that was there, that was available to me. And I think 2020 was a massive call out. So I became pregnant with my son. I had my son in 2019. Having my last one, I really started awakening to wanting something different in my life. I just realized that I was burnt out. I was majorly burnt out by my career, which was quite demanding. Succession of relationships, and then 2020 happened, and that was a big awakening for me, where I just had my little boy, and I wanted to come back to. I felt the disconnection, that the disconnection that I was talking to you about. I started feeling it really strongly, and realizing that I wasn't where I was meant to be. I didn't know where I was meant to be, But all I knew is that my body was telling me that I was not meant to be where I was, and then I was in quite a difficult relationship with the father of my son. There was a lot of alcohol and drug abuse and, violence, physical, verbal violence. And I didn't want to continue like this anymore. I just knew that I hadn't come to this earth, to this life, and I hadn't given birth to 3 beautiful children to stay in that pattern. I needed to change something. So that was the version of me before. The version of me was just very disconnected from me. Yeah.
Yes.
That's what it was. It was all in the appearance and trying to fit into the box, trying to fit into the system, having the right job, earning the right amount of money, putting the kids in the right school, wearing the right clothes, being seen at the right places. Like all of that was taking over my own sense of self-worth and self-love, and keeping me away from, I believe, the life that I was truly meant to live and the woman that I was meant to become, because I wasn't being authentic. I wasn't being authentic. I wasn't true to myself. And so that eventually, what happened is it led to a burnout. It led to a physical and a mental burnt out, where I had been suffering, quite interestingly, from early childhood, from a lot of anxiety and depression. Lots of factors into it, childhood trauma, and quite a hectic childhood of moving around the world with my parents. Beautiful childhood in many ways, but also quite traumatic in other ways. And that really exacerbated, when I reached, my 40s and I had my last born. It just, and that the body is always the messenger, and I just, I was constantly depressed, constantly crying. I was anxious. I was angry. I had psoriasis. I had all these symptoms. My body was just like telling it, screaming at me, I've had enough. I've had enough. But it took a while for me to recognize the signs and to accept that was because I was not where I was meant to be. But it's interesting because when I look back, at pictures of myself, or when I've completely changed my environment in my life. I don't have the same friends. I don't do the same things. I don't live in the same place. And a lot of people go, "You've changed." And I'm like, yes, I've changed, but that's a good thing, And
It's a good change.
And I really love the version that I am today. And when I look back, there's been different stages of grief towards the person that I was before. And now I feel a lot of compassion and empathy towards her, because she didn't know any better. She didn't know any better. She didn't know any better from her education. She didn't know any better from, the system I was born into, and that I was, that we all are sort of pushed into. So there have been moments where I felt very angry and very disappointed at her. At the age of 25, I was earning a lot of money and I was splashing. I never invested. I made so many bad decisions. And so there are moments when I used to look back and I used to feel angry at that version. And now I just feel a lot of love and compassion for her, because she just didn't know. She just didn't know anything.
Yeah. I understand that. Yeah, I totally understand that.
Stuck. I was stuck in the UK in an unhealthy relationship. And it just felt like I couldn't keep going. Something had to change. Something had.
Yes.
And the body was screaming, and I'll always remember this moment where I was in my house. I was already separated from the father of my son, and he was coming round to see his son regularly, and we just had a massive argument. And I worked all day. I was tired. The sink was full of dishes. I just put my little one to bed. I was distressed, and I was smoking a joint in the kitchen, and I just thought, is that it? Is that it? Is that how, is this what my life is going to be? Then that's the end, because it can't, I don't want to continue living like this. And I thought, I really had this strong vision, like, if I don't do anything, like right now, in this moment, make a decision that I don't want to be this person anymore, that I don't want to be in this situation anymore, then I'm going to die. I'm not going to keep it up, And because I had a long history of anxiety and depression behind me, I had attempted suicide when I was in my 20s, and I just knew if I didn't change anything, it was easy to fall back there. And I didn't want that. I just had a little boy. I was, I wanted life and happiness. So yeah, that's the version of me before.
Yeah. Oh, I totally resonate with you, girl. We have such similar stories. It's so crazy. And I know when I had my very last realization, I was also I was with child. I hadn't had Abriana yet, but I was depressed. I was crying, and then it's so easy to go to that mode where you're not only depressed, but you're suicidal, because you're like, I don't want to live like this anymore. And I remember when I started feeling suicidal, I was like, I gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
That was my moment of realization, like, I have got to leave. I have got to do something different. And that's when I called my mother, and I was like, I'm coming to Australia. Like, I have no choice. I have to do this. And really, I'm so glad. I'm very, very thankful for that moment.
Yeah.
Because I was still with my partner at that time. And I was in the other room bawling all night. Well, he didn't care. He was the reason I was crying. And I'm just so glad that he showed that side of him and showed me, like, I can't live like that. My baby's life is not just my life that's important. My baby's life is important.
Absolutely.
And I need to do something better for me and my child.
Yeah.
And I'm very grateful for that moment where it hit me, like, I can't, no matter what I do, it's not getting better. But you, coming from the UK, what made you choose Portugal?
Oh, I think it was a calling from God, because I just want to just quickly go back on what you said. I think that rock bottom moment is so important. Because that rock bottom moment is the awakening. You think it's the end, but actually it's the beginning, So
It is. Oh my gosh, that gave me chills. That gave me chills just thinking about that.
Yeah. Why Portugal? It's, a lot of people ask me that question. I never quite know what to answer. So I always say it's God, because that's what I truly believe. I just, Portugal, Port of Graal. I needed to enter something different. And it was really not on my list. Like, I had traveled all over the world. I'd spent 20 years in Africa. I'd been in Australia.
Wow.
I'd been in Australia. I'd spent time in Southeast Asia. I'd been in the States. Portugal was really not on the radar. Like, I had a friend here, and an old connection which died, which is interesting. That connection has now, vanished from my life. But she was like, when the whole 2020 thing happened, we kind of reconnected at that moment. And she was like, come here, and there's a lot of homeschooling communities, and, we're doing this and we're doing that. And I thought, Okay, why not? And so
Yeah.
I came to check out Portugal in 2022, quite actually nearby to where I am right now. And I thought, that looks good. There's a beach, the weather's nice, you know. Quite interestingly, when I first moved to Portugal, I moved to the mountains, so I really didn't move to the area that I'd visited. I
Yeah.
went to an area that I actually hadn't visited at all, and I went up to the mountains. So I spent a fair amount of time in the mountains, in the Himalayas, in my
Oh, wow.
20s, and I always loved the mountains. So when I made the decision to come to Portugal, first I thought, beach life and sun and all of that. But somehow I moved to the mountains, and that was really important, I think. Again, that was, I believe, very much God led. Because I moved to the mountains in Portugal, where I stayed for about 6 months. And I just needed that complete cutout from that life that I had been living for 20 years. I just needed a complete cutout, and I moved to
A
the a
detox.
complete yeah. I needed just to start over, but I needed isolation. Like I really needed to be with myself. I needed to be in nature. And so that's how I ended up in the mountains. In my first 3 months of living in Portugal, I was living in this tiny stone house on 5 acres of land in the middle of the absolute boonies. Like I live in the boonies now, but a different kind of boonies. And, I didn't want to see anyone. I just wanted to be with myself, with my little boy. I didn't want to talk. I didn't want to engage in communities. I just wanted to be, I just needed to reconnect, with myself and slow down and go outside for walks and go to the river, go to the waterfalls and just reconnect. I fell in love with Portugal because it's a beautiful country with beautiful people. It's very, very diverse. And then eventually I felt the calling for something else. Single mom with a little boy in the mountains was a little bit, and I don't drive as well.
Oh.
So I'm 48 and I don't have a driving license. Like people are amazed when I tell them that, I have survived in Portugal now for 3 years with no driving license. It's pretty, it's been pretty challenging. It was pretty challenging in the mountains because there were
Yeah.
not a lot of public transport and not always easy to find an Uber. But I think I needed all these challenges. I needed all these challenges to kind of be who I am.
Refine you.
Yeah, yeah, totally. So very, very
Wow.
grateful to Portugal. And what's really interesting about where I am right now is that I always say I live in God's garden. It's absolutely stunning where I live, just by the ocean, by the forest. But there is a big church, which is the what we would call in English Land's End. So so it's the furthest point out into the Atlantic, the furthest point out in the sea, and there is this beautiful church which is there. And for the last 2 years, I've kind of just been gravitating around it. So I moved a lot. The first year and a half that I was here, I moved every 3 months. It was a challenging journey. But somehow, since I arrived in this area, I've always gravitated around this church. And somebody told me, and I felt this very deeply, that I was protected here. There was something.
Oh.
There was something here that felt like home. That's something that I'd already, and I felt safe. Here I feel
Yeah.
safe. I'm a
Chills. I got
yeah.
chills.
So this is why here, this is why now. Whether this is always going to be the place, I don't know. I think by nature I'm very much of a gypsy. I like moving around. I'm curious. I always get itchy feet. I'm like, let's go to Costa Rica. Let's go to Nicaragua.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm always wanting to, to go out there and discover new destinations and meet new people. But this place was very nurturing and very protective, and I believe it will always, always have a very, very special place in my heart.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Oh, I love that so much. I love that. And I'm sure your little boy loves the wildlife,
It's
just
amazing.
being out in nature all the time, I mean, that should be a natural habitat.
Absolutely. I mean, I genuinely believe that all children, need to be out there and connected with nature.
Hmm.
And little boys need to run. Little boys need to climb. Little boys need to,
Hmm.
before anything else, they need to build the body. Their
Hmm.
strength, that's like lions
Hmm.
in the wild. And
Yes,
so this
yes.
environment is amazing for him because he's always outside, by the beach, in the
Hmm.
forest, climbing trees, discovering nature. And so he's just having that connection, with nature
Hmm.
that is so important. And interestingly enough, I was brought up in Africa. So I was brought up
Mm.
barefoot in Africa as a child.
Yes.
So I had a very strong connection with nature as a child. It was a different kind
Hmm.
of nature. It was a very wild nature and very dry and very hot. So nothing like where I live now, which is very rich and abundant and green.
Hmm.
But I had this very strong connection in my childhood, and it never left me actually, because
Oh, good. Yeah.
I came back to it. My
Hmm.
my system was somehow always calling back to it, and you know,
Hmm.
in the hardest moments that I had on this journey, because it hasn't been always easy, the connection with nature was always the most powerful, the healing one.
Hmm.
I go
Hmm.
out, I go for a walk in the forest barefoot, I go to the ocean, I go to the beach, and woof, I
Yeah.
reconnect, and I ground and I tune in. And so,
Hmm.
but that was something from my early childhood. So for me, it was
Hmm.
so important, although, I have two other children which are older. Um, I really wanted this for him. Like I really, because I know it will never leave him. The body
Hmm.
remembers. The body
Hmm.
remembers. And so it's wonderful to be just watching him running around and just being happy out there in nature. And I think
Yes.
that's where we need to be.
Yes, we are supposed to be one with nature.
Yeah.
When I was little, at his age, I was in the Philippines,
Mm.
and I remember climbing trees, just all the wild things, and I want that for my children too. I want them to always have that love for nature. And it's so funny because even now we may be living in the city, but any chance we get to be outside and barefoot, even when we're just walking to the store and back, we will literally stop. uh, all the trees that are along the path, we will stop and put our hands on the tree and just,
I love
put our
that.
heads on the tree, and we thank the tree. And we take sometimes we will stop and take our shoes off and then just, sit on the patches of grass or along the walkway,
Mm-hmm.
because it's so important to connect with the ground all the time. And, and
Absolutely.
there's all the benefits with grounding.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I wish, and I know one day we will be back out somewhere closer to nature.
Mm-hmm.
With us being in the city, moments like that, I'm like trying my best to just, I mean, little sidewalk,
Yeah,
touching the tree in the sidewalk,
it's so
any
important.
chance that we get to connect with nature,
Yeah.
I'm gonna take it.
Yeah, I love that. I love
It
that.
doesn't matter how silly we look. I don't care if someone's looking at us being like they're literally hugging trees.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't care
absolutely.
what you think. Like, my children and I are getting benefits from hugging this tree.
And then you have the beach in Sydney, right?
Yes, so I'm so grateful we are like a drive away from, the beach and from the mountains.
Yeah.
So anytime that we, and with homeschooling, we're able to do that.
Yeah,
Once a week we go somewhere, and explore, and
I love
it's
it.
part of the schooling.
I love it. I love it. It's amazing. I love it. And it's so important for children, that connection is just fundamental. It's not just important for children, it's important for us as well.
For us, yes.
We're not designed to be living indoors in front of fluorescent lights, in front of computers all the time. With artificial light, we need the sun. We're like, I was just telling you, for the last 3 weeks it's been pouring rain and lots of wind, and so
Yeah.
we haven't been able to go outside as much, and I was
Yeah.
literally speaking to a friend yesterday. I was like, the depression's starting to kick in again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I need
Yeah.
to be out there, and any opportunity, anytime there's been a window of no rain or no wind, poof, I rush outside, I take my shoes off, and off we go.
Yeah. I was watching a video of someone who, in the middle of the snow, was blow drying a little patch of grass so they can ground their feet. You
I
know,
love that. It's so cool.
anything, any way that you can ground your feet as much as possible, like you got to do it. It's so
Yeah,
important,
very
and
important.
so many people were so disconnected with nature,
Absolutely.
and that's why we have depression, because we're not outside.
And we're not meant to be living, as I say, inside in cities and just under artificial lights and in front of computers all day. But that's all by design, right? That's what I
Oh,
believe.
yes, of course.
That's what I believe.
Of course.
It's all by design, and that's why it felt so important for me to come back to a life closer to nature, you know. And a big part of my healing journey is about being further connected with nature all the time. I prefer being with trees and animals than I prefer being with humans.
Oh, I totally understand. I understand. And that time, though, is good. That time of isolation is, I think, I didn't realize this until I went through it myself. That time where you are alone and you're not surrounded by any other energies that can affect you.
Exactly.
And it's a time for you to remember who you were before these programming, before these opinions, before someone told you that you're not this person, or that you're supposed to be this and you're supposed to be that, you're supposed to do that. And it's just like having to unlearn everything that you are taught, and to discover yourself
Yeah, the deprogramming
before that.
is important. The before you learn again, it's the unlearning journey.
The unlearning, yes.
Everything that you've been, and this is what I was saying, for sort of 20 years, and between 20 and 40, I'd kind of been forced into that system and was trying to desperately fit into that box, because that's what everyone was doing, and that's what everyone was telling me I should be doing. Get a good job, have a good salary, have a nice house, have a nice husband, have a nice car, have a nice this. And if you don't do that,
then you're a failure,
you're a
right?
failure.
Like you're not.
You're,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you know,
you're
there
not
are
like everyone
still
else.
there are still people that think that, there are still people that think, she's a bit weird, she doesn't want to work a corporate job, and she doesn't want to, do this or do that. No, I don't, because
Yeah.
I know that is not what I'm meant to be doing, that is,
Yeah, been there, done that, and that's not a
And it
life.
didn't work. It was making me sick.
Yeah.
It was making me physically sick. First, I had to, uncondition myself from that. And then there is the social part, which is really heavy, right? The sort of the peer social pressure, because everyone's in the rat race. Everyone's doing the same thing. And the minute you say, I don't want to do that, everyone looks at you and goes, what are you talking about? You don't want to. What are you
Yeah.
going to do? Well, I'm going to do it differently. And they were like, what do you mean? What do you mean? You can't do it differently. It's not possible. No, I'm sure it is. And I'm going to
Yeah,
show
yeah,
you.
yeah. Yes, yes. And that's the crazy thing too, is when you are surrounded by people who are unconscious, let's say, they they can't see past their limiting beliefs. So they're pushing it on you like, no, that's not
Absolutely.
possible. You shouldn't be
Yeah.
doing that. You
Yeah.
need to be doing this. Like, that's not true. You can't do that, you know? And it's their opinion that is keeping us from
Yeah.
doing what is meant for us.
Yeah. Absolutely. And that's why your environment is,
It's so important
is so important.
to,
And your
yeah.
diet, your diet, I always talk about your
Yes.
diet because in terms of health and wellness, we're always focusing on your diet. So like what you eat and, what you
Mm-hmm.
drink, and thanks to water, that's,
Yeah.
it's important what you eat, what you drink. But your diet is also what you watch, what you listen to,
Mm-hmm.
who you
Mm-hmm.
hang around with, your friends. I do not have any, like, from I would say my past life. So before coming here to Portugal, I think I've remained like one or two connections from my
Mm-hmm.
20 years of living in
Mm-hmm.
the UK. I completely, you know, everything just had to go, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And when I look at my phone today, it's a completely new set of people, you know.
Yes.
I've
I
surrounded.
understand. Since moving back to Australia, I literally like I can just do this, scroll once, and that's a whole list of people that's on my phone. Versus when I was in America, I'm like scrolling forever. All these connections, and what happened to these connections? What happened? They fell away.
They fell away.
They
And
fell
people,
away.
I would have sworn to you, these are my best friends. The people that I
Mm,
used to party with, the people that I used to drink with, the people that I used to smoke with, the people that, I had to kick everything and everyone out to be where I am today.
mm-hmm.
You have to
Yeah.
change your complete environment.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't, that I always like to say, that doesn't mean that you have to move countries, right? You don't need to pack a
No.
luggage and go to the other side of the world like you've done or like I've done. You can just decide, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna hang out with these people
Mm-hmm.
anymore. I'm gonna surround myself with people who are more aligned with my mindset. And there's
Mm-hmm.
always a time of isolation, I would say, in the middle, because you have to find yourself before you can find your people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So first you have
Yes.
to,
Well, yeah, you need to work on yourself to know who you are so
yeah,
you can attract the right people because we're
exactly,
constantly attracting people
yeah,
according to our mindset at that time,
yeah,
according to our habits,
yeah.
and most of all our vices. Like I've noticed the people that I thought were my best friends, they weren't my best friend because we had, the same mindset or the same, values. It was because we had the same
Yeah,
vices. You
absolutely.
know, we smoked together, we gossiped together. Like that was our
Hmm.
vices. We
Yeah,
ate junk food together.
yeah,
But
yeah.
at the end, when I started to change, these people, where did they go? They
Hmm.
didn't like the new me.
They fell out.
And so they fell away.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's something I really relate with, and that's exactly what's happened. Surround yourself with, five smokers, and you'll be the sixth. Surround yourself with five drinkers,
Yeah.
and you'll be the sixth. I tr- I prefer to surround myself with high achieving, millionaire women.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
I
And,
like to surround yourself with people that are already where you would like to be. Surround yourself
hmm
with people who are going in the same direction as you. It's
hmm
so important.
yes.
And it's funny because just reflecting, actually, I haven't reflected that much on that particular point of my life. It's just having this conversation with you, which is kind of opening the box. Um, I didn't. I never quite fitted in either with those people. I did, but I didn't.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
there was
Yeah.
something that wasn't 100%. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and it was terribly meaningless, terribly meaningless.
Yeah. Yeah. At the end of the day, you're like, was there any growth being in these friendships?
Yeah.
You know, like what did we accomplish every time we met? What did we accomplish?
Yeah, we
You
went
know, did
out.
we become better people?
Yeah, we went out, we went drinking, we went partying, we went smoking, you know, as you say, junk food, gossiping, all of that, you know. And so, yeah, now when I look at my phone list, my contact list, I'm like, you know, check, 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 you know,
Yeah.
high achieving woman, millionaire.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm
Yes.
like, this is
Yes.
because it inspires me to become better, you know, like, you know, taking care of myself. And I was thinking about this actually while I was getting ready for this podcast. While I was, you know, putting a little bit of makeup on just so I didn't look like I'd come out of bed. And I was thinking, it's 5 o'clock in the morning, and, you know, 10 years ago, I would be coming home at this time, sometimes
Yeah.
later, removing
Yeah.
makeup. And now I'm up at 5 o'clock in the morning, putting makeup on to get on a podcast.
Yeah. Isn't it
Amazing.
amazing how life can change just
It's,
like that?
yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing.
I'm sure your younger self is so proud of you for getting out of the funk and waking up to yourself.
I think so. I think
Yeah.
so. I think my younger self, I think my ancestors, I think, you know, the lineage of women behind me. And I think my children too, actually. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, the little one is different because he's kind of only known this version, right? But I think
Yeah. Yeah.
the first two were a bit confused in the beginning, obviously, because it's like, oh, what's mum doing? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, like that threw them out a little bit. But now they're like, yeah, we get you. You look happier, you're happier, you know, and they can see. And that's also important for, that was also important for me, is like, because they're in their 20s, and 20s can be confusing, and especially if you're living in
Yeah.
London or under a lot of social and peer pressure, is to give them the inspiration and to show them that there was a different route, you know,
Yes.
to like,
Yes.
you know what, you don't have to stay there doing what you're doing if you don't feel that that is where you're meant to be. Like, don't be scared, acknowledge it. There are different routes, and I
Yes.
wanted to be this inspiration as well for them, even though they're approaching their 30s. I just kind of wanted to be that model of, take that step and you can do something different, you know. I think my younger self is definitely proud of me, and as I say, my ancestors as well, because I know I'm very surrounded by. I know my grandmothers are around me all the time. I feel their energy all the time. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's been a wonderful journey. It's been a difficult journey, and I mean, difficult's probably not the right word. It's been a challenging journey.
Challenging.
It's been challenging, but that's where growth happens, truly.
Yeah. I mean, how does gold get refined? You know, it has to go through some fire in order
Absolutely.
to
I love that.
be that finished product that we see, you know, on the shelves. You know, it has to go through some work before it can shine and be seen as something which is always valuable, but you know,
Yeah.
the refining is what makes it really like stand out. And I really truly believe, you know, our challenges, this makes us who we are. And I honestly, it at first it was hard for me to think, you know, that my hard life was something that was needed. But if I removed everything that I went through, I wouldn't be who I am today. And I love who I am today.
Yeah.
You know, I love who I have become because and despite of everything that has happened in my life.
Absolutely. It's never
And
happening to you, it's always happening through you, you know.
yes, and I've known about God my whole life, growing up in a Christian home, but I was that kind of Christian that was also very judgmental
Mm,
because I was, you know, surrounded by the Christian culture in which if you don't obey the law, then you're looked down on, like, you're less than because you're bad, you're doing bad things. Oh, you're smoking. Oh, you're not
mhm,
going to church every Sunday. You're not reading your Bible every day, and
mhm,
you get looked down on, and it's just become that church culture where you look down on people who are not on the right path. And I
mhm,
remember when I was in high school hearing about someone getting pregnant and that the parents are still taking them in, and I remember thinking, oh, how can the parents still like support her after having a teenage pregnancy? And here I am feeling like a teenage mom, single mother, raising my children
yeah.
and, finding refuge in my parents, in their home.
Mm,
But I feel so lucky. Like I'm so grateful that they are so loving and supportive, and I'm glad that they're not that judgmental Christian that is be like, no, you're on your own. You're making us look bad. You're on your own. Like I'm so
mm,
grateful for parents who love me
for who you are.
unconditionally and for who I am, and they have watched me blossom since being back home, back in Australia. They have watched me become a completely different person just because
Yeah.
they gave me this fresh start, a place where I feel safe, and
Mhm,
and and they have just kind of let me just be me. They've kind of let me heal on my terms
mhm,
and not force me to go to church or to go to rehab or anything like that. Like
mm.
they just let me do what I needed to do in order to heal
That's
and become
nice.
who I am
Amazing.
today. And I'm so grateful for that
Mm,
they did that instead of like forcing me to do, go to therapy or somewhere that, is probably I've done counseling and all that in the past. I've done medications and they didn't do anything for me. And me
mhm.
going the holistic and natural route is what saved me.
Yeah, absolutely. The reconnection. It's the
The
reconnection.
reconnection with nature, with earth, and remembering who I am, and not just believing in a God. Like I believed in God my whole life, but when I left church, when I left everything I knew, that's when I met God, and I learned who this God really is, and this God
Absolutely.
loves me unconditionally. Like limiting beliefs that I've had when it comes to God, like I don't believe that anymore. Like my God
Mm,
is bigger than what the church has preached my whole life. Like they keep putting God in this box, and God does
exactly.
not belong in a
Even
box.
God, they're even trying to put God in a box.
Yes, it's just insane. And so really this last 2 years I've just been like unlearning, relearning, and figuring out, what do I believe? What do I really believe myself? Not just what, instead of just accepting other people's beliefs, like what do I truly believe?
Yeah.
And it's been such a wonderful journey, and not just keeping God in this box, but looking outside of the box, like the box, the programming that we've had our whole
Yeah.
life. Like
I'm just
I
trying to.
tore that down. I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna believe that anymore. I'm gonna figure out what my purpose is.
I love
A
that.
new set of eyes.
That's
New set
beautiful.
of eyes. My eyes.
It's beautiful, and again, I go back to this. Life is never happening to you; it's always happening through you. You're always being shaped. I believe that
Mhm.
you are always exactly where you're meant to be. The same thing as me.
Mhm.
Sometimes on my journey, I had these moments where I would get frustrated with this older self, like I was telling you, I'd be earning a lot of money in my 20s and just not doing anything smart with it, and just wasting so much time on going out. But I needed to go. I needed to be that person. I needed to do all these things to become the person that I am today. It was my journey, and everybody's journey is different. We're all being shaped in different ways and in different manners. And I have absolutely, no regrets. I'm very grateful. Like, even the relationship with the father of my son, which was, very difficult. And, as you know, I had this long court case, and it was very challenging. Even that I'm grateful for, because it built me. It really built me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it made me change, and
Yeah.
everyone's journey is different. Some people move faster than others, and that's just how it is. My journey was 20 years, and that's
Yeah.
okay. I'm very much at peace with it,
Yeah.
but this is, again, it comes from a lot of social and peer pressure. I remember my dad was always telling me, "Oh, if you haven't got a permanent job and a career by the age of 40, then you're done." It was like so scary, I was like, "Oh my God,
Yeah.
God," and I'm almost 50.
Yeah.
I'm 50 in 2 years, and here I am, and I'm
That's
very,
amazing. You don't look it. Oh my gosh, I did not know that. And I mean, I didn't do the math. I don't know. I just, for me, well, it's just a number
it's
now. It's just a number.
the
And plus
water.
you're drinking living water. You're healthy. You're a healthy person. You're living
But
you're
I also
doing
think,
the natural way of life.
yes, and also it comes within a peace, I think
Yes.
in a peace is just is where it was. I remember, I used to use all these anti-aging creams in my 30s, scared of the slightest wrinkle that would appear on my body. And I would go out partying, like 2, 3 nights in a row, come back at 6 o'clock in the morning, wake up in the morning, and I'd have these bags under my eyes, and really, accentuated. I don't know if that's very English, really lines. And now I don't use any anti-aging or cream or whatever.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it
isn't
feels
that
like,
crazy? Yeah. I'm the same. I'm the same. I used to have all the expensive things, and now I'm like aloe vera, coconut oil.
yeah, castor oil, olive
Natural.
oil, natural,
Yeah.
natural. And also, as I say, inner peace, less stress,
Mm-hmm.
less anger, less resentment. Just,
Mm-hmm.
as I say, my entire journey is very much based on gratitude. The gratitude for
Mm-hmm.
all the things that I went through. Every time
Yes.
there is a challenge, I am like, I'm grateful for that challenge, because I want to go to the next level. Yeah. And I know this
Yes. Yeah.
challenge is being brought to me so that I can elevate again. So
Mm-hmm.
I no longer feel thrown by challenges which come my way. Obviously, there might always be a little bit of a moment of like, oh, what's going on? And then I'm like, okay, I want to go. Let's go with it.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you for the learning. What is this teaching me? Because
Mm-hmm.
it's either a lesson or it's a blessing.
Yes. Yes. It's
That's it.
amazing when you rewire your mind to think that way, you are
Yeah.
not reacting like your old self.
No,
It's
no.
just so different now, like, and I'm trying to teach this to my daughter, and it's so funny because she came up to me the other day and she's like, I said this to, because my parents, my mother's almost 70, and it's a totally different generation.
Of
And
course.
so my daughter, she sometimes experiences what I experienced as a child, a little bit of the lecturing. So she would say something to my mother, and my mother would start going on, and just being a mother that is concerned and wants to make sure that her granddaughter, you know, knows the right thing, even if
Mm-hmm.
it's not really lecturing, but it sounds like it, because
Mm-hmm.
you're having to sit there and listen to it. And she was like telling me about it, and then she's like, but then I stopped and I thought about it, and I said, and I thought, oh yeah, she's right, and I learned a lesson during that talk, and I was like, that is so good. I'm so
Yeah.
glad. And I told her that I was so proud of her for actually reflecting on that
Mm-hmm.
moment and
Mm-hmm.
seeing that it was something for her to hear. Because I tell her all the time, listen, when people talk to you, when people say something, when they do something, you're not hearing it for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
So there's always something that you're going to get out of it if you
Yeah.
pay attention. And so she's learning that. And then when she actually came up to me to tell me, and all it was is that, you know, the first thing you need to think about when you wake up in the morning is to thank God. She's saying, do you thank God, for the life that you think of, that you have the first thing in the morning? That was her lesson. Out of that was, I need to start thanking God more for the first
Mm-hmm.
thing when I wake up.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're so smart.
I love it.
I'm so grateful that she is like, and a big part of that is because I've become a new person, and she's around, my parents, who are also wonderful people. And so she's learning all these things.
And it's
Otherwise,
beautiful.
the me in the past, I was depressed. I wasn't really present, like I was always thinking of, how hard life was. And now I'm always thinking how positive things are. Everything's a message, everything's a clue. Like,
Yeah.
everything is a
Magic.
miracle. And so she's starting to see that. And she's only 11. And I'm just so grateful that
That's
she's able
beautiful.
to now live this life and experience the new me.
Yeah.
That she is, everything is new for me and for her. But
Yeah.
I'm just so grateful. Like, my old life, it just wasn't good for me or for her. And now she's
No.
experiencing this whole new person, this whole new mother, this whole new environment. Such a loving environment all the time, every day. We just experience love every single day, and we're just happy every
Beautiful.
single day.
I love it. It's
And that's
beautiful.
all kids need. They just need our
Yeah,
love.
and I love the fact that you live with your parents and that your children are with your parents. I think that generational connection is also really important. And it's also very much something that we no longer, we don't have in today's society.
Yes.
I very much believe that children are learn learn best, whether it's whatever they're learning, skills or whatever, but learn and ground and emotionally develop when they are in a tight community, family,
Yes.
family, a small village, a small
Yes.
community, a small village, a small family. They don't need to go out there and be thrown into the wilderness
Yeah.
of whatever it is over there. And so that's
Yeah.
really beautiful, that is, I have to say, that was it. A decision for me was when I decided to come to Portugal, was the fact that I would be further away from my first two, further away from my parents. But I had to take that step. That was important for me. But
Mm.
should it be, what I want, I'd love to have just, my parents, my children. That's what I would love. This year we went out for Christmas in France, and it was lovely because we were all there. Of course, it was challenging,
Yeah.
but there was something. And my little one is like, he loves it. He feels very secure when he's surrounded by his tribe. We are
Yeah.
meant to be living in our tribe. So how wonderful it is that your daughter's experiencing that, and it's so important for your parents as well. Like it's such an
Yes. Yeah.
exchange, right? It's such an important exchange, and
Yes.
we've forgotten about the importance of that. Families are now. It's all about oh, you got to move out at 18, and get your
Yeah.
own house, and the grandparents are old, and they're going to go in a retirement
In a
home, and
nursing home. Yeah.
everyone is just disconnected. Everyone is just,
Yes. Yes.
but it's naturally, it's not meant to be like this. The the
No.
the younger children are meant to be, benefiting from the wisdom of the elderly, and it keeps
Mm-hmm.
the elderly young from having the young spirits around. It's so
Yes,
important.
it's true. Yeah. The
But we've completely,
exchange is wonderful
yeah, it is
for all
wonderful.
of us.
It's so nurturing. I believe it's so nurturing. And that's also something which society is completely, taken
Yeah.
out. It's like, no, and that's why you were asking me about Portugal. Two things that I love about Portugal, really, really important for me. Family is very important here.
Mm-hmm.
Family is super important here. You see family getting together. They're very religious, so they believe in God. Mainly the old generation. I think that's something that's really changing with the younger generations. But the older generations, they believe in God. God is very important, and family is very important. So they
Mm-hmm.
get together. They look after each other. Brothers and sisters, and
Mm-hmm.
and grandparents. And you often, if you go out on a Sunday, you see entire families having lunch together. And that's so
Yeah.
beautiful, because when
Yes.
coming out of the UK for 18 years, you don't really see that. You don't really
Mm.
see
Oh
that anymore.
yeah, yeah.
Everyone's
Yeah.
just,
Even
oh,
here, it's better here than it is in America. America is very disconnected. Very
yeah.
there is no culture and
And if
no
you
family culture at all.
see, if you look back at what happened in 2020, that's very much what it was all about. It was about disconnecting everyone. Yeah. I don't
Mm-hmm.
believe anybody died of whatever that thing was. Old people were dying because they were lonely, and they were
Mm-hmm.
anxious, and they were unhappy.
Mm-hmm.
They had no
Mm-hmm.
connections. When you see these horrible pictures of, like, a grandma behind a plastic thing who can't see, her children and her grandchildren,
Yeah.
and alone in
Mm-hmm.
nursing home. It's loneliness that kills people. It's sadness.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
fear,
Yeah,
fear,
yeah, that
loneliness.
fear definitely. That's what causes a lot
But
of
I
our
think that was
sicknesses.
the agenda. That was truly the agenda. The agenda was, breaking, making sure that
Mm-hmm.
everyone, stay at home on your own with
Mm-hmm.
the TV. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Don't kiss granny.
Breaking our
Don't kiss.
spirits.
Yeah, totally. And breaking the connection, the family.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you don't have God anymore, when you don't have family anymore, who's your family? The government, the TV,
Yeah.
the internet. That's
Yes.
it. When you've pulled out all the roots, yeah, the
Mm-hmm.
family roots, the holy roots, that's what they want. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they want to plug you into that system and disconnect you
Yes.
from everything else around. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah,
it's
even, all the things that are coming out now, all these documents, Epstein files, whatever, it's all there to keep us in fear,
yeah,
to keep
yeah,
us in fear,
yeah, and it's
and
only the tip of
us,
the iceberg.
absorbing. Yes, exactly. I mean, it's like they're also it's like conditioning us to this information when actually it's a lot worse than what they're
Yeah,
throwing out there. I mean, nothing goes
mhm,
out in to the public without a hidden agenda.
absolutely. So
But it's
you're a
keeping us
psyop.
conditioned to something that, worse, and it's just keeping us in fear, and us absorbing and this information is is not good for us. Like it's my a lot of the phrase that I like to say a lot is to keep myself in check is
Yeah.
observe, don't absorb.
I,
Like if you,
I
because
love
once you start thinking about stuff like that, all these emotions, the fear, the like paranoia, like all these things that are gonna start
yeah.
controlling your life, and then what happens? You get sick. It's just you get more disconnected with the people around you. It's a whole lot of I don't know. It just we're doing it on purpose for sure.
Yes, of course. It's all by design, and it's
Hmm.
so it's difficult to, as we were talking about, it's not easy to unlearn. It's not easy to, sort of unplug from that system. Even in my life today,
Yeah.
you always kind of, you get this letter or you get this obligation, and you're gonna just like, I don't want any of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want any of it. I don't want to be registered anywhere.
Yeah. 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 Before
So,
we leave, I want you to talk about, your business. What is
oh,
this business that you are a part of, that we are a part of actually, because we
yeah.
met on the internet. I came across your post, and I remember sharing it, and you just messaged me, and we just started talking then. And I feel like,
Hmm.
definitely God aligned us. Our paths crossed for a reason. And since meeting you, a lot of things have changed in my life. And then we started talking about this water in Magic,
Hmm.
and that I had been drinking already, that I was
Which is
already, that my mother had
amazing.
introduced me to, and which
Hmm.
is a big part of my healing journey is, I cut out all the cokes. I even like detox from coffee, and was just drinking this water that was helping me in a cellular level, like completely transforming my life. And
Yeah.
then you bringing it up, and I was like, this is no coincidence. It's
There are
just
no
amazing how
coincidence.
our life has aligned. So, talk about this business has transformed your life. I mean, you went from corporate to
Yeah.
now being an entrepreneur.
Yeah, yeah, and
Yeah.
from sharing the power of this water, because really water is the foundation of, we kind of want to outsource our health all the time to, again, that same system, which really wants to keep you medicated, and they're not
Hmm.
creating cures, they're creating customers. And being able now to be part of a global community, which is, amazing. Here, you're in Australia, I'm here in Portugal. We connected over social media, because my messaging resonated with you, or your message. It's
Hmm.
beautiful. It's alignment. We're connecting by sharing our truth and speaking our truth, and being able to
Yes.
join this incredible global community of like-minded people. This is exactly what we were
Yeah.
talking about. We were talking about changing your environment and surrounding yourself, and that includes online, right? Because we obviously
Hmm.
now spend so much time online. Everything is online, and
Consuming
so what you're
online. Yeah.
consuming online, what you're looking at, the people, the connections that you're making there, have become part of that environment and part of that daily diet. And so being part of this global community of like-minded entrepreneurs, many women in our team, which I love. I love the feminine energy. We do have men as well,
Yeah.
and being able to share the power of living water, which is the foundation in our bodies. We are 70% water, our brains 86% water, our skin 64% water. When you start drinking the right water, when you start hydrating at the cellular
Hmm.
level, as you were saying, everything changes. It has been a huge part of my own healing journey. For me, it's this water is a testimony of how important it is, because of course I was telling you I had all these episodes of anxiety and depression and skin issues, which were very much linked to my lifestyle, my stress levels. And in the last 3 years, I've had, as I told you, many other challenges, on this healing journey. I've had a lot of other challenges. I had a very big court case with the father of my son. I moved every 3 months for a year and a half. And I never felt depressed. I never felt anxious. I never
Yeah.
started having skin problems. And that's because I'm drinking this water, and it keeps me, it's just giving my body everything that it needs to keep me leveled. Like, I think clearer. I'm more
Yeah.
focused, No, you cut out the alcohol, you cut out the caffeine, you cut out all of that, and you replace all of that with living water. It's so powerful. And being able to share this with and share the power of this water and the power of this community with everyone out there, because I talk about my water and my business all the time. It's a business, but it's more than a business. It's a lifestyle,
Yes. Yes.
and it has empowered me to step up into my own truth, to share my message and my truth on life, on everything, medical. It has literally unlocked everything. And
Yeah.
it's so powerful. And being able to support other women to do the same, that's my purpose. Help mothers build businesses from home, earn an income from home, so they can be more with their children. So that is the mission. That is really
Yes. Yes.
empower women to go for it and be themselves, and be with their children and live the lives that they're meant to be. Because I think this whole system is really not in favor of women, of children, and of families, and
Oh
that's very
no,
much
not at all.
very much what they're trying to break. As we've been discussing. And when a woman, reclaims her health, reclaims her sovereignty, she heals the whole lineage behind her, and she heals the whole generations. There's
Yes.
so much
Yes.
power about reclaiming that well-being, reclaiming your strength, your power, within the home, in your life, in your family. And that's truly my mission. That's, beyond the
Yeah.
gift of health, because obviously
Yeah.
we are not meant to be sick, tired, on 20 medications and in and out of the doctors all the time. That's not normal. It's been normalized, but it's not normal. You're not meant to be sick all the time. But beyond sharing the health benefits of this water, there is a deeper mission, which is about helping re-empower women to reclaim their lives and reclaim their times with their children, so that they can homeschool them, be free,
Yeah.
and take their babies back.
Yeah.
Let's stop breeding sheep into a very dysfunctional system. So I love what I do. Very interestingly, as I'm saying this, I'm getting a bit of a ringing in the ear, which I always know it's spirit. Yeah, I
Yes.
don't know if you
Yes.
know
Yes.
a little bit
Oh
about the
yeah.
work of Dolores Cannon. Um, and
Yes.
so
Yes.
when you get an earring, that is always a sign from spirit, and it's almost like spirit is
Yes.
saying,
Yes. 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 It's a message. It's a confirmation. Like you're like, yes.
like, I
Yeah.
know, and this is really my soul's mission, to help more women free themselves and re-empower themselves and step out of their comfort zone and go out there and share their truth and share their love and share their passion and
Yes.
take care of their babies. Like, I want to see us together. I think now, exactly as you were saying, with everything that's coming out, and now that, you know I think 2020 was a massive wake up for a lot of people, but I think more and more people now are realizing what is going on, what system have we been feeding. And I'm here to remind people that there is a different way. As I
Yes.
was telling you, I
Yes.
thought there was only one way because that's what I had been taught. That's what I'd been shown. That's what everyone was saying, get a job and get a mortgage and get a good husband and all of that. But actually, no, you don't have to do that. I mean, you can still get the house and the husband, no problem,
Yeah, yeah. But on your
that's great
terms, yeah.
on your terms, but you don't have to sell your soul to something that doesn't feel right. And if it doesn't
Yeah.
feel right, there's nothing wrong with you. There is
Yeah.
another way. And
Yes.
of course,
Yeah.
it might sometimes appear as a more challenging route because it's new, because it's different. But that doesn't mean that it's not possible. And I think that,
Yeah.
you, me, and so many other women across the globe who are taking their power back in so many different ways by building online business, by creating podcasts, and by sharing stories of other inspiring stories. We are the ripple of change. And you were talking
Yes.
about your
Yes.
daughter who was at the age of 11 already, being able to reflect on, how important it is to listen and to integrate and what she could take out. Like that is just the ripple effect, and think about the woman that you're
Yes.
raising and then the mum she will become and your grandchildren. I mean, this is what I'm saying. You're not
Yes.
just healing the generations behind you, you're healing the generations ahead of you. We are here to create something different. We've been told to fit in the box. We've been told to do this way. But no, we are meant for more. We are here for
Yes.
more. And that's the mission, is
Yeah.
to help more women do that. Louder,
Yes.
louder,
Yes. And I
louder
love
and
that.
together.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I love that. I love that so much. And, I'm definitely right there with you. I mean, starting this podcast is just so scary. It's so scary, but I want to be able to speak about my truth and help other women to be able to find themselves and to heal
Yeah.
and to see the power that is within them. I just I guess I just want to help people wake up to themselves. Wake up to
Yeah.
who they
And that's a
really
beautiful
are
thing.
before the conditioning and before the programming, like who you are in
I
Christ.
think the most powerful thing is when you heal yourself, you have to heal yourself first. Once you've healed yourself, you can help others heal. And that's so beautiful.
Yes.
So
Yes.
beautiful. That's so powerful. And it's the same thing for me. I like you. I want to be out there. I want to share your story with the world. I want to share other women's stories. I want to share my story because I want to inspire. I want to show you you
Yes.
can do it, and the
Yes.
version of you that is there waiting for you to embrace her is so beautiful and so powerful. And she's just waiting there. You just have to take a
Yeah.
step forward. And if I can do it,
Yes.
and you can do it, and she can do it, and we all come together and we say, look, this is possible, we're liberating ourselves and we're liberating our
Yes.
children,
Mm-hmm.
which is so powerful. And because I was in humanitarian for a long time, and it was all about fighting the system and being out there and changing policies and, writing papers to the UN, and it had to be validated by this board and this board and this board. And then at the end of the day, they've changed 3 words on the paper. Yeah. That's not change. That's
Yeah.
not change. That's not real change. Real change is you. It starts with you. It
Mm.
starts with what you are choosing to do as yourself, the little actions that you take every day. And then you become the change you want to see in the world. Forget about the old system. if you have something, if you have a glass which is broken in your house, right? If this glass was
Yeah.
broken, I wouldn't go out there, get some glue and try and fix it. No, I'd get another glass. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what you do. You don't fix what's old and broken. You build the new. And that's what I'm here for. I know that's what you're here for. And that's what I want to remind. Stop focusing on what's not working out there, because it hasn't worked, and we have all the evidence that it's not working. People are sick, people are tired, people are depressed, people are like this. The amount of suffering in this world is like, okay, this system which isn't working, you're not going to fix it because it's
Yeah.
broken. It's like that glass or
Yeah.
that table. It's time to build a new table. It's time to go out there and get a new glass. That's what we are here
Yes.
for, to build a new system for our children. We don't want to plug them in something that's wobbly and not, you wouldn't do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So yeah, so
Get rid of
that's
the
what my
old and
mission
build
is.
the new.
Yeah,
I love
get rid of
it.
the old,
Yeah.
get rid of the old,
Yes.
and start something new, and it is possible. I know it's scary. I was scared.
Yeah.
I was terrified, like woof, and you feel really lonely when you take that step as well.
Yeah.
I think now more and more people are taking that step, which is amazing. And this is it, as the
Yes.
system collapses, as the old collapses, we're suddenly seeing more and more people coming together and awakening and stepping into their
Yes.
power. And so there's so many people out there doing some incredible things, building new system, new worlds, coming back as communities, coming back as families, building online businesses, sharing their truth, getting paid to be themselves, getting paid to share their message. It's amazing. Yeah.
Yes.
So
I love it. I love it. And I love that we are a part of that we are on that ship of change, and we
yeah.
have woken up from being unconscious and being a part of the broken system, and we have like stepped back and we have seen like, oh my gosh, this is not what we thought life is. Like, to wake up, honestly, I cannot go back to who I was. Like, now that I have seen from my own very eyes reality, the actual reality, and I can't unsee it, and I can't have my kids be a part of that. Like, I
Yeah,
want better for
absolutely.
them. And
Yeah.
the one thing that with Abriana's name, Abriana is like, it's Italian, but like Hebrew, it it's her name is like Abraham, but like instead of like the father of many, she's the mother of
The mother.
many, like the
I
female
love
name
that.
for Abraham. And I think about that. I'm like, she's gonna be the generation that is like a whole new earth, like a whole new system. It's gonna be like all these kids, they're gonna be changing the world. Like, she is that generation. Like, I'm
Yeah.
making sure that her life is gonna be as less trauma as possible, like she's seeing
And this is
she's
our
gonna see a
mission.
whole new world. Yeah. And it's because of us as parents, we're creating this new earth. And then her generation after us, that she's gonna be creating, it's gonna be so different, and it's gonna be better. It's just gonna be a whole new generation of like more conscious people.
And this is
We're
such,
gonna be we're
I
gonna be
mean,
raising conscious people.
this is there is no higher mission. There is no more beautiful work,
Yes.
in my view. We came here for it. This is why
Yes.
we connect. This is why, you were
Yeah.
saying there's no coincidence. No, there's no coincidence. We came here for this. This is what we came here for. We didn't come here to live miserable lives, hand over our children to a broken system,
No.
and die. We did not come for that. We
Yeah, we're
came
here to
here to,
create a new world for these children
yes.
after us.
And there are so
It
many
is the
ways. There are
utmost
so many ways.
priority. Yeah.
And there are so many ways by which we can do this. We have the power of technology now, and a lot of people shame the internet and shame social media and all of that. Again, it's what you choose to do with it, how you're going to use it.
Yes,
I
exactly.
don't scroll. I don't scroll endlessly. I used to scroll and scroll and scroll. In fact,
Yeah.
I'm grateful for the scrolling, because the scrolling led me to my mentor. It eventually led me to signing up, with Enagic, and
Yeah.
to getting my water system and to start creating. There were a number of hours of scrolling that went into that.
Yeah, yeah.
But once you flip the switch and you realize that you can create, you can flip on the other side. 90% of people using social media out there are simply consuming. They're consuming the fear,
Yes.
they're consuming all of this. Or you can be part of the 10% that are out there now, which is going to become a growing number, because more and more people are realizing the power of social media, the power of an online business, how they can actually use it to create. Once
Yes.
you switch on the other side, it's an incredibly powerful tool, because you can
Yeah, it
reach
is. It really is.
everybody.
Everybody,
4.8
literally
billion people,
everybody.
4.8 billion people, I think maybe that's gone up, are using social media. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you have something to say, take a mic like you, go online and share your
Yeah.
message. Because
Yeah.
somebody out there needs to hear it.
Yes.
Somebody out there will resonate with you, with your message. You came here with a mission, and that person, you're going to change their life. They're going to come across your
Yes.
podcast. They're going to come across your story. And it's going to inspire them to move forward. How powerful is that? How beautiful is that?
Yes.
That helping other people. It's beautiful, beautiful. Far more
Yeah.
powerful than the 15 years I spent up on barricades saying change that policy.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
an utter
yeah.
waste of time. What an utter waste of time. I mean, don't get me wrong. I hope that throughout my career in humanitarian, and I know I did, that I helped, one person here, one person there. I believe there's far more power in doing what I'm doing today, and I'm reaching far more people, and then I'm able to help
Yeah.
far more people with what I'm doing today than when I was distributing, you know, whatever to try and help somebody in a conflict zone. I think what I'm doing now is far more empowering and powerful. I'm not saying that
Yeah.
support is not needed. It is needed, but I do believe that the work that I do today is more powerful and is more
Yeah.
important.
Your past experience
Yeah.
though was needed though to create who you are today. In order for you
Yeah.
to show up on social media and share your truth, it
Yeah.
helped, shape who you are to become that confident and
Absolutely.
powerful woman that you are now. Yeah. I bet your younger self is so proud of you. So if your
Yeah, she
younger
said, go, go,
self
go.
was listening to
Go, go,
you
go.
today, yes, if your younger self was listening to you this podcast today, what message could you leave her that would help her in her journey?
Take care of yourself. Put yourself first. Love yourself first. And I always used to want to please and want to be loved. I was always in the validation thing, and so I wasn't looking at trying to make myself happy. I was always trying to make other people happy. So I was trying to do what's right in the eyes of others, as opposed to trying to do what was
Yes.
right for me. And once when you start doing that, people look at you and go, "What are you doing? You're not trying to make me happy anymore." No,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna make myself happy first. That's what I would tell my younger self, to embrace who you are, even if you're a little bit different. That's okay. Differences are beautiful. We want different, we're not meant to be all the same, think the same, look the same, you know. Stop trying to please everyone around you. Please yourself. Make yourself happy. Take care of yourself. Take care of this beautiful vessel that God has given you, this body that you have. Look after it. Nourish it. Nourish your soul. That's what I would tell my younger self. I would spend far less time running around trying to make XYZ happy when XYZ aren't even in my life anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Makes no sense, right?
Yeah.
So you spend these years in relationships, friendships, love relationships, trying to make everybody happy around you, and then you forget to make yourself happy. Makes no sense.
Yes.
So love
Yeah.
yourself.
Well, that's beautiful. Yes. Love yourself. That is, I think, one of the biggest takeaway that I want everybody to have is to love yourself. And I think everything, the
Yeah,
shape of your life really boils down to how much you love yourself. Really,
absolutely,
that's the one thing,
absolutely.
that I've learned in my whole journey is that if only I would have loved myself as I should have, I probably wouldn't have gone through a lot of the stuff that I went through. But, everything that I
But you
went through
have,
woke me up to
but you have
myself.
exactly, and
Yeah,
now you do, and now look at you. You're glowing.
yeah. Yeah.
You're shining. You're glowing. You're doing what you love. You're raising two beautiful
Hmm.
daughters, and you had to go through that to come to that realization. The same as
Yeah.
me. And what we want is we don't want our children to have to go through that. Sometimes it's just
Yeah.
for me. I speak to my daughter. My daughter's 28. So young women, and I'm like, I'm sharing this with you so that you don't have to go through what I went through. Because
Yeah.
if you can take that, so that you don't have, I'm sharing from this place of experience, just so that you don't have to go through some of the pains that I went through. That's
Hmm.
trying to protect our children in that way.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, and then you're able to do this before your children have children. So that's, I think that's beautiful that, your change is now going to help your girls for when they prepare to have their own children. And yeah, again, we
And I
are
can't wait to have my
creating a new, yeah.
grandchildren.
Oh yeah.
I keep asking my children, so when is it happening? When is it happening? Can I have little ones? Now I want little ones. I'm like, give them to me. Because I can't wait
Oh,
to have I can't wait to have to have grandchildren and have them around and share with them, and be with them. So that's the next
yeah.
stage of the journey.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Laura, for taking your time, waking up so
Thank
early.
you. Thank you.
And has the sun come out yet over there? I don't
Um,
know.
yeah, not the sun, but there is daylight. There is daylight. But
There
I
is
might go
daylight.
back to bed for like half an hour.
Oh, yeah, you go for it, girl.
Just have a little
I
snooze.
I don't blame you. You woke up so
Thank you
early,
for
but I
inviting me.
appreciate you so much. Seriously. And I know
I
whoever's listening
appreciate
to
you
this,
too.
it's not gonna come across this segment for no reason. I know that they will get something out of this. So thank you so much for sharing your story and inspiring other women and out there, like keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a great job and I'm so grateful to have um met you, not in person, but online, but it's just amazing now, and that is a good thing about the internet, is that you're able to connect with people otherwise you wouldn't be connecting with. I mean, we're in completely different worlds, and here we are speaking, talking about,
Yeah.
you know, similar stories, and I'm so grateful that our paths have aligned, and that, through social media, I
I'm so
am
grateful for
meeting,
you, and
my
I
people.
love watching your journey.
Yeah, and I love
Yeah,
watching your journey. Like,
yeah.
I've
And
watched
I'm so
when I
grateful for
first came
you.
across your social media, you were only less than 10,000, and now you're like really growing up there, and I'm just like so happy for you, and I'm so grateful to have you as my mentor. And
And you're doing it.
yeah, thank you so
I always
much.
like to see your shimmy videos. I'm like, yeah, shimmy with cat.
Thank you again, Laura, for being on the show. And I am so grateful for you. And thank you so much for sharing your story. And I know that someone is going to get something out of this segment today. And I just want you to remember, even on days that you're not feeling good, remember that you are doing the right thing. Your younger self is so proud of you, for you're just out there changing lives. You are out there inspiring other women and just living your purpose. And I think that's so amazing. And it's never too late. It's never too late. I love that message that you are telling people, that they can change right now, and that they're it's not, nothing is impossible. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter how tricky your situation is. There is always a way out, and there's always a better life out there for them. And thank you so much for inspiring everybody.
Thank you for having me, Kat. Thank you for being part of my journey. I'm very grateful, and thank you for letting me share my story with your audience. And I do hope it, and I know it will. It's not, I don't hope, I know that it will resonate with someone, that, and just continue doing what you're doing, continue sharing powerful stories, continue showing up, continue showing your, sharing your truth, and everything falls into place from there. Continue doing what you love. That's the most important.
Yes, yes. Thank you so, so much. You
Thank
have a
you.
wonderful nap. Go back and have a nap.
Bye, Kat. Thank you so
All right,
much.
bye.
Bye.
Mwah.
Mwah.
Bye.
Bye.